Yo, let's talk about the level cap with Voruna and also talk about the frame. There is a lot of things that I want to share about her. This is gonna take a while. So if you want to leave it in the background, you can, but there might be some parts that you might want to watch it. But let's go. First, the level cap. It was really good, really chill, in a good time around the 2 hours mark to get the level cap. I wanted to take Voruna and see what she could do, what the build could do. I had an idea. I was pretty sure what I was gonna get, but I was sure with the second build and not with this build, the one I took, which is a more generalist build because it's not really focused for the melee. It's just for the everyday mission, you know, exterminate, cascade, survivals. That was that. Also, the commentary here is not really on the during the gameplay itself because I was in a group, was on Discord talking to my friend Giga and Jenny, and it was that we were having fun, talking, laughing, you know, and it's not live. But I took Voruna, Giga took his Revenant with his Charist Prime build. He wanted to test, and Jenny took Garuda. We got to level cap. It was fun. For the gameplay with Voruna, that is literally cherry picking enemies to nuke the rest of the room. That's how it goes. For me, it is a very fun and it feels a lot rewarding, the gameplay. But it is not all flowers. I want to get into what are the problems with the build, Voruna, survivability, invis frames. Then I'm gonna talk about the build, and then the second build, and last it's gonna be the build focused towards surviving a bit more for those who aren't really used to surviving with stealth frames. Stealth for invisibility frames have a problem with survival, which is only really gonna show when you're doing endurance, which is you are gonna die. But what's gonna kill you the most is splash damage. It's the damage that is not really for you because you're invisible. You're not gonna get targeted. But it is the residual damage. It is the indirect damage, you know. It is the damage that is not for you mainly. That's what's gonna kill you. It is the shock Maximus bolts that are targeting something else, or maybe the enemy happened to saw you for a fraction of a second and it got your target and now you're effed. Or it is the wave of an Maximus, the one that applies the heat damage, the heat proc, or you know, there is a bunch of stuff that's gonna get you killed. Mainly splash damage. But yeah, that is one of the problems. For me, the build is not as problematic because I'm really used to playing stealth frames, invisible frames. I've played Ashe as my most used frame in the game. So I'm very used to knowing what to do to avoid death. But you might, you know, try to copy the build and ending up dying a lot. That might just happen, you know. That's why I'm telling you what's going on. Now let's get into Voruna problems. That is dying for splash damage is a general issue for any invisible frame, but for Voruna, she has two extra details. One is that for a fraction of a second, you're gonna be visible while you cast your second and your fourth ability. While you do the leap, you're visible. The first time you cast those, they're probably not gonna get your target. They're probably are just gonna look towards where they kind of saw you. But the second cast is where you're probably gonna get shot. Be that for the first ability or the second ability or for the fourth ability, which also for a fraction of a second makes you visible. Other than that, which is the second problem with Voruna, is, let me see, it's not really there yet. We don't saw it. It is not every time. Everyone is just taking too much damage. It is radiation. Radiation is gonna turn your target into a target for your enemies too. Like, just like that. And then they're gonna start shooting, and there's gonna be bombards, there's gonna be all sorts of damage coming towards you. That's also how you get killed. You know, the radiation. Another thing is your pet. Your, be that a sentinel, be there a Kubro, duplex bond can get you killed. It got me killed a lot by using stealth frames like Ash. It definitely got me killed during the run, but the pet is just so important. Like, he just deals so much damage that even if you have the enemies targeting the clones and stuff, it's still worth, because at some point you're gonna hit your enemy, you're gonna prime the enemy. The freaking dog is just gonna, like, chomp the target. He's gonna bite a piece of the target, and it's gonna be dead in like so fast. You know, you're not gonna take damage if there isn't, if there's no enemies, if there isn't anything to damage you. You know, that's kind of how it goes. So it's still worth it, even though it might be a problem. So, you know, the thing is, to minimize that, you might wanna prime your enemy, move away, let the dog bite, and that's how it goes. But those are our problems with Voruna, and you know, you're gonna have to deal with that. One of the solutions is really to do what I just told you: apply, move away. The Hura's Kubro will end up with the problem where you become visible while using your second and fourth ability. So it is my Kubro of choice for the build. It just solves that problem. And you know, the third solution is to kill everything before they have the chance to damage you. That is also a way of staying alive. Now, let's get on to the build. This is my first Voruna. There is a second Voruna, which I've actually made for this. Why I made a second Voruna? Because even though they're solving a problem with the universal format that you're gonna get, we can't choose the specific ability that we're gonna trade for every single loadout on the helmet. So I had Roar on the third ability, on a build focus on using Ulfrun's Descent, if I'm not wrong. And then I wanted to use Roar on the fourth slot to use Precision Intensify to maximize my Roar damage increase. So this is the build I took to level cap. We have power strength, and efficiency, power strength, more damage, which is, I'm gonna call it an indirect power strength. But this is just so good. This augment, oh my god, thank you. And then range, and this is range and energy, and some duration. This is the generalist build for, you know, the normal content. I run it for exterminations, survivals, cascade, you name it. I like to use this. It's just feels pretty chill, pretty usable, and it's how I like to play. Other than that, shards, I feel like I need at least 2 Tau Forge for casting speed with Voruna. Less than this feels slow. More than this is up to you. If you want it, go ahead. Ability strength, I feel like it's really good. That's what I like to use because to further increase roar damage. For the Paris is the status chance stick for my pet. It is this. This is the build. Even have primary accelerate, which can help me with my energy in case I really need it. A Riven with status chance. It's really for the pet. And if you don't have a status chance stick, I'm gonna call for your pet. I think the Paris Prime, it might just be the best one out there because it kind of snapshots the value that you have here. If you happen to trigger something like a Crux, primary Crux, or if you have a weapon with further status chance, but it only triggers on the Incarnate form, like the Strun Incarnate, it's not gonna work. We could get, oh my god, we could get above a 1k status chance with this thing, but it just doesn't work with the, I think it's Mecha Overdrive. So the Paris is my weapon of choice here with this pet build. The Grimoire is also built for energy regen. This is the build. I got a Riven. Conjunction voltage works like a charm. It allows me to regen the stacks or the second or pretty much the meter pretty fast, and I like it that way. Let's say I want to make my Grimoire primer. You can add a secondary encumber here, and you're probably good to go. For the Harmony build, it is this. I recently got a Riven for it, and I would say it's a pretty good roll. I tried to make the build work with duplicate. I think it works, but it's still kind of hard to say if it does. I feel like it works, but I'm not 100% sure. What else could we put here? I have absolutely no idea. That's how it goes. It just feels good using like this. Yeah, I was able to get the damage cap in the simulacrum. For the pets, I had the Arthuss, making me invisible, causing a lot of damage, causing a lot of chaos and mayhem amongst the enemies, biting everyone's pieces off. Pretty nasty dog. Damage, 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 damage. Status chance, status duration, status damage, status duration, magnetic to help with the Eximus, status duration. This should increase the electricity dot left when the overguard breaks because of the the magnetic, and it should increase the damage. But yeah, it's kind of how it goes. This build is inspired on a guy that made a really good video about damage dealing pets. I think it's something like that. His name. I'm gonna leave the video in the pinned comment. That's gonna be it. All right. So now this is the first build. The build I made for the level cap was actually this one: Powered Blades, Quaction Drift, Arcane Crepuscular, and Archon Continuity. Powered Blades, Quaction Drift to maximize the damage from the primer, the melee, the Harmony. Crepuscular for the same purpose, more critical damage. Archon Continuity, in case I happen to apply a Toxin proc and not a Corrosive proc, this is gonna apply the Corrosive proc. And it's gonna be contributing to the Condition Overload on my melee. That's it. That's the only difference. This is the build I use to land a damage cap hit within the simulacrum, like in here. Now, if you want to survive a little bit more, this might be the build for you. Swap the Crepuscular for Arcane Aegis and the Aura for Brief Respite, because every cast is going to give you a little bit of shields. And every time you're taking a hit to the shields, it's a hit that's probably not going to kill you because it's not your health. And you have a chance to trigger Arcane Aegis, which is going to make you pretty much unkillable for its duration, which I think it's pretty freaking good. That's pretty much it. For the pet that I said, Duplex Bond can get you killed. I also have a build for that. This one, without Duplex Bond. It works pretty well. It works pretty well. Even though it's only one dog. Yeah, you know. Yeah, it still works pretty well. Yeah. One of the things that I forgot to mention is the Voruna passive. Like, this thing is so freaking good. Why did I forgot to mention the passive? Because her 2 gives you a lot of survivability. You know, immunity to status effects. This thing is so freaking good. God mode mobility, status immunity. If you don't subsume the fort ability is an extra life, is a cheat death. That it's just so freaking good. Yeah. I think that's about it. Yeah. I think that's as far as I can remember. I have to say that I had to build a second Voruna because why you might be asking why never I built around the fort ability with Ufrun's and Ufrun's endurance. It is the only reason is that this thing will probably not kill level cap demolishers. It can kill. I've already figured out a way to do it, but it's too much work, and it's probably not worth. It's definitely not worth. It's something that can be done, but it's too much work. But if you want to do like normal gameplay, for anything else that is not demolishers, this will probably work like a charm. Probably work like a charm. Remember to take your Hura's Kubro, and this should be a walk in the park. It's gonna cause a crap ton of damage. You're gonna nuke stuff like crazy with a build just like that. But guys, this is Warframe. You have to use what you have available and also what suits your gameplay. These are my ideas of builds. This is how it works for me. It might not work for you the same way, so you have to work and see what's best for you. That dog shouldn't be here. That dog really shouldn't be here, but it's the simulacrum, or at least he's not showing up there on the. Oh, it was my bad. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. I think Voruna is definitely climbing up on my frames used. I feel like she's so freaking good, and it's so satisfying to use a setup like this. I feel like it is one of the best effort to reward ratio there is. We're cherry picking enemies. You have to attack that specific enemy, but when you do, you get the rewards. You just get the rewards. So you're gonna play again. Prime your target, get away from it, let the Krubel bite and do its job. And yeah, that's it. Leave a like, subscribe, comments, doubts, suggestions, all in the comments below. Peace.